Deep within the heart of northeast India, a conflict simmers. The state of Manipur, known for its natural beauty and vibrant culture, is marred by a long history of insurgency. Among the various armed groups, Meitei militant organizations like the United National Liberation Front and Kangle Yawal Kunba Loop have emerged as significant players. Driven by ethnic nationalism and a desire for self-determination, these groups have waged a protracted armed struggle against the Indian government for decades. Their struggle is deeply intertwined with the volatile geopolitics of the region, particularly with Myanmar. Across the porous border, the Myanmar Junta, known for its brutality, has found common cause with some of Manipur's insurgent groups. This dangerous nexus, fueled by the illicit trade in arms and narcotics, poses a grave threat to the peace and stability of Manipur. The flow of weapons and funds from Myanmar empowers Meitei militant groups, enabling them to sustain their armed struggle. This cycle of violence deepens ethnic divisions and undermines efforts to find a lasting solution to the conflict. Understanding these complex alliances is crucial for addressing the root causes of the conflict and paving the way for peace in Manipur. Manipur, a landlocked state amidst the hills of northeast India, exists in a precarious state of peace. A history of ethnic tensions, economic disparities and political marginalization has fueled a cycle of violence and mistrust. The presence of multiple armed groups adds another layer of complexity to an already volatile situation. At the heart of the current crisis lies a growing sense of insecurity among the Kuki people, a tribal community facing discrimination and violence from Meitei extremist groups. The Kukis, predominantly in the hill districts, have been caught in the crossfire between the Indian government and Meitei insurgents. The recent military coup in Myanmar and the subsequent crackdown on pro-democracy activists have created a humanitarian crisis, sending refugees fleeing across the border into India. The influx of arms and insurgents from Myanmar has exacerbated the existing tensions in Manipur, making it a tinderbox waiting to ignite. The Mauritania border crossing stands as a stark symbol of the interconnectedness of conflict and the human cost of instability. This trading point, intended to foster economic cooperation, has become a conduit for the flow of arms, drugs and insurgents. For Meitei militant groups, the Moreh line serves as a vital lifeline for procuring weapons and financial resources. The Kuki villages along the Moreh line are caught in a deadly trap, subject to extortion and violence from both Meitei militants and Myanmar Junta's forces. Their lives and livelihoods are held hostage to the whims of armed groups exploiting the porous border. The Moreh line stands as a grim testament to the failure of governments to control their borders and address the root causes of conflict. The discovery of the bodies of alleged Meitei militants near the Myanmar border sent shockwaves through Manipur. Initial reports suggest that the militants, en route to Myanmar to procure arms, were intercepted and killed by Kuki villagers. The killings highlight the deep-seated mistrust and animosity between the Meitei and Kuki communities. The incident has sparked outrage and fear, with some Meitei groups accusing Kuki villagers of acting as vigilantes. The killings have also raised questions about the role of the security forces and their ability to maintain law and order in the region. As tensions escalate in Manipur, accusations of collusion between state forces and Meitei extremist groups cast a dark shadow over the region. Disturbing reports allege that elements within the state machinery are complicit in the violence against the Kuki community. Eyewitness accounts and video footage purportedly show security forces standing idly by or even participating in attacks on Kuki villages. The alleged collusion between state forces and extremist elements strikes at the heart of democracy and the rule of law. A swift and impartial investigation is crucial to uncover the truth and hold those responsible accountable. The allegations of state-sponsored violence in Manipur are part of a larger pattern of impunity that has plagued the region for decades. The Armed Forces Special Powers Act, a controversial law granting sweeping powers to the military, has created a culture of impunity. Under the AFSPA, security personnel enjoy legal immunity, making it nearly impossible to prosecute them for human rights abuses. The lack of accountability for past abuses has bred a deep sense of resentment and mistrust between the government and the people of Manipur. The government needs to acknowledge the grievances of the people, repeal draconian laws like the AFSPA, and create mechanisms for accountability and justice. The crisis in Manipur is a microcosm of the larger challenges facing northeast India: ethnic tensions, political instability, and economic underdevelopment. The failure to address the root causes of the conflict risks further destabilizing the region, with potentially disastrous consequences for India's national security. The porous border with Myanmar and the presence of multiple armed groups make the region vulnerable to transnational crime and terrorism. The conflict has hampered economic development, deterring investors and depriving the state of much-needed investment and job creation. The cycle of violence and underdevelopment has trapped the people of Manipur in a vicious circle. A comprehensive strategy combining security measures with political dialogue, economic development, and social justice is essential to bring lasting peace and stability to Manipur. The ongoing crisis in Manipur demands our attention. We cannot remain silent as a region bleeds and communities are torn apart. The time for indifference is over. The time for action is now. We must break the silence that surrounds the suffering of the Kuki people. Their stories of displacement, violence, and fear must be heard, acknowledged, and addressed. This is not just a call for awareness, it is a call to action. In a time when information is manipulated, independent media outlets like Zalangam Media play a crucial role in holding power to account. Zalangam Media has been at the forefront of reporting on the crisis in Manipur, providing unbiased and verified information from the ground. Their commitment to truth-telling and justice has earned them the trust of the people they serve. By subscribing to Zalangam Media, you are supporting the pursuit of truth and justice in a region torn by conflict. Your support will enable Zalangam Media to continue their vital work, providing a platform for the voices of the oppressed. Subscribe to Zalangam Media today and be a part of the change you want to see in the world.